On today's episode, why failing chemistry doesn't have to blow up the lab, the tale of the casual widow, and can you solve the mystery of the missing question? All that and more on today's episode of Bad Advice with Beth Denberg.
Help me out, almighty Beth Denberg. Give me the vital information so I get the right thoughts to do, yeah. The church of Beth is in session and we're reading from the scriptures of vital information. Talking my goddess and my savior, my LPT. Just tell me what's going on with me. Oh my goddess and my savior, my LPT. Just tell me what's going on with me.
This is Beth Denberg, and welcome to the Bad Advice Podcast.
Woo!
With me, as always, is Clark Crozer.
Hello.
Clark, I'm not going to ask how you are, because I know how you are.
Yeah.
We are both losing our minds.
Yes, we are.
Listeners, please help us.
Okay, yeah, we're going right straight into this, aren't we? Okay.
I can't. We've been working on this for months.
Yeah,
a month?
literally.
I don't know.
Over a month.
Okay.
Over a month.
Here's the thing, listeners.
Hi, everybody. Hi, welcome to the podcast. And here we go.
Yeah, I need something from you. I give a lot. Okay, let's have it come back.
Yeah.
We got a great question.
Yes.
And
months ago.
And Clark and I are just certain that we answered it.
Well, let me throw. I'll put this into perspective.
Yes, sir.
We get questions all the time.
Yes.
I try and put them into the scripts, and then you come in to record them, and you take a look at some of them, and we move a couple questions around here and there, and then we just record.
Yes.
You don't get too much time to think about it. So we had this one question that I thought was a decent question. You thought it was a decent question.
Yeah, it was good.
However, when it first came in, we were kind of overloaded with questions. So we had so many good questions, we decided, hey, let's take this guy and let's push this guy to next week. And then that became the week after that, and then it kind of got pushed at least 2 or 3 times.
Okay.
While we were trying to get it in, but then go ahead.
I and Clark distinctly remember answering this question.
Fully, like talking about it with microphones in front of our faces.
Yes. However, Clark keeps a very clear, catalog of all of our quote unquote scripts, just, what we've done in that show.
Basically, it's just the questions that we've answered.
The questions, and it is not in any of the episodes. We feel it's like someone is gaslighting us.
Yeah.
Somebody went into your files, Clark, and deleted this.
Like, it was almost as if we finished recording an episode and then got knocked out by gas.
Yes.
And then somebody deleted that episode and they woke us up and said, all right, it's time to do another episode.
Yeah.
And then we recorded another one, and this is just like a faint, vague memory.
That is the most likely scenario. Or we never answered it, and we'd like to, but not if we already have.
So before we go on, let me throw out, I'm going to read the first part of this question just so people out there can help us try and figure out whether we've asked or whether we've answered this question on the air before.
Yes.
So here it is. The question basically just says, my dad was cheating on my mom when she was pregnant with me. I barely saw my dad growing up. Looking back, I really needed a dad. He would come around every now and then. Sometimes 3 years would pass, and at this time, he lived in the same town. My older sister told me as a kid, Mom and Dad got a divorce because of you. And looking back, I'm sure she thought that was true in a kid's eyes, but now we both know better. But I grew up with feeling like it was my fault. That's not the whole question. There's more to the question.
There's more to the question. But have you, dear listeners?
Yes, please help us.
Have you heard this before? Did we answer this question?
We answer usually around 4 or 5 questions every episode, and this is our 37th episode.
Yes.
That's a lot of questions, and this is the one we cannot figure out whether we've answered or not.
And again, as Clark was saying, questions go in and out depending on what, if there's like 5 questions about sex toys, we don't want to do them all in the same episode. Right. As much as I would like to,
yeah,
I'd like to use 5 sex toys in one episode.
In one episode.
I've come close.
Okay.
But, yeah, this one, I just distinctly remember answering it, and it is nowhere in our archives.
Yeah.
If you have heard this question on the show,
Yeah.
please write in and let us know.
Yeah. Or if you've listened to every single episode and said, no, I have a perfect memory,
Yes.
and I remember for certain that you have never answered this question, let us know that too.
Yes, please
I'd
do.
love to answer this question. It's a good question.
It's a great question, and there's more to it. Like Clark said, he only read the first half, but it is driving us fucking insane.
We have literally been tearing our hair out for at least 3 or 4 weeks now.
Yes.
If not more.
Because Clark is like, we didn't do this one. And I'm like, yes, we did.
But when you say, yes, we did, I remember doing it too. It's not just you.
I know. No, I know.
I totally remember answering this question.
Please help us, people. Please.
Maybe you should post something on the socials and somebody can just
I will definitely
reply
post
to it or
exactly.
something.
I will definitely post it on the socials.
It could be like a poll. Have you heard this question?
Exactly. Would you like to? Would you like us to stop entirely?
Are we going insane?
Yeah. So
Possibly.
Again, if you're listening, go back, listen to the question again, and then listen to the rest of the episode.
Sure,
but
sure.
We got to the point where we just needed your help.
Yeah, because this is driving us insane. We reached out to the original person that asked the question.
Yeah, I messaged this person because they have put another question in through Instagram. That's how I knew the name of the Instagramier. And
even they don't remember.
Yeah, even what she said. Well, what she said was, if you answered it, I didn't hear it. But she also didn't say, I've listened to every episode, Lori Beth.
Right.
Which, I mean, really. But, so yeah, it's just been driving us crazy.
Yeah.
And it's a good question.
Yeah.
So based on the response we get, we will answer this question next week.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
all right.
Life is hard enough without this on my mind.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So hopefully you guys out there can help us out. But let's move on to our actual real questions.
Well, why bother? We're going to forget if we did them.
Probably, yeah.
Okay. I know I like the question.
We'll move on to question number 1. And question number 1 this week is from somebody named Carly.
Carly.
And Carly asks, why is it so hard to work hard and make some decent money without being subjected to a deluge of meetings that could have been an email? Yeah.
Oh, Carly. This was bad enough back in the day. Actually, it might have been worse back in the day before everything was done on the Zooms.
Yeah.
But yeah, now it's kind of easy. Hey, we're calling a meeting. Why don't you be there?
Yeah.
This is very interesting because it does depend. There's a couple different ways to look at it. Part of me knows from my experience that there are team leaders or project leaders or whatever that just need to hear themselves talk.
Oh, yeah.
And they need to see you hearing themselves talk.
Oh, yeah.
And whatever little power trip it might be, whatever, let you hang on my every word until I tell you what it is you need to do.
And usually they're always the late one to the meeting.
They do all of those things from that book, like never be the first one to speak. Always have a taller chair. But
yep.
there is that possibility, and that was one of my favorite memes from the very start of the pandemic when everyone was locked down, was somebody saying, well, I guess we see which one of these meetings could have been an email.
Yeah, exactly.
I just said that very grammatically wonderfully.
Well, the follow-up, however.
Yeah, exactly. But the other thing about, a deluge of meetings, I get it's this eye roll. It's this like, I had an old boss who would have to be on corporate, they weren't video calls though. They were just conference calls.
Okay.
And it would just be like muted, rolling her eyes. At one point we got a tiara and she would always just wear it during the conference calls.
Oh, good
she was the
Lord.
conference call princess. And it was always like this is so useless and I don't need any of this information and I have nothing to contribute.
Yeah.
Because this isn't my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But, so there is that.
You
And
know,
on the other, go ahead.
When we were working together at the ad agency, there were plenty of meetings that we would go to together.
Oh, yeah.
I always thought, at least in the ad agency that we worked at, that most of the meetings, at least the really unnecessary ones, were basically just because the people above us had zero trust in anything we did.
Yeah. There's that aspect too, that it is, I need to, maybe it's more about like, look how important I am.
Yeah.
Look how integral I am.
Yeah, exactly.
So that is part of it as well, is that it can be infantilizing and like, well, let's go over it again.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's part of the like eye rolly deluge. But at the same time, there's the other side of the coin, which is like certain projects, certain businesses, the sense of teamwork and the collaboration is really important.
Absolutely.
And the way to do that is to get together.
Yeah.
And bounce ideas off each other and such.
But I don't know if I would necessarily call that a meeting.
Well, a meeting is anything you're supposed to be to at a prescribed time with your coworkers.
I guess, but it just
because it's not soul crushing doesn't mean it's not a meeting.
Meetings, for me, at least from what I remember in the agency that we worked at, meetings were never about like getting work done as much as showing off what you've done.
Yeah, well, but that was an ad agency. We had concepts given to us. We had materials given to us. We had to watch. Remember, there was this one. What was it? It was something about the Olympics.
Was it the Mario and Sonic Olympics?
No. It was something about Sydney Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
And we did little just what are the ones that are on the internet? Just like not the banner, they're banners or something.
Yeah, the online banners.
And so there was this really long video that we watched that was animated. I think it was a game.
Okay.
But it was just this silent, slow panning around the Olympic Stadium. Like for a really long time. Yes. And I was like, Sega Genesis presents Stadium. Like, I don't even remember what it was for. But like that one is a bad example.
Yeah.
But we would get resources there. But say you're just at a business, at a whatever, at a real estate agency.
Right.
You're getting the information. And part of it is collaboration. Part of it is being for the team, but also from a cover your ass standpoint or point the finger standpoint.
Yes.
There is a way. It's kind of like we put "do not drink this" across the bleach.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You know that.
Yes.
So part of it might be, okay, boss is telling us all of this information to our faces. We have no excuse for not knowing, acknowledging, or following through.
That's true. That's true.
But that falls into the category you said of like, there's no trust or is there whatever.
Right.
But yeah, meetings my best friend is on just meetings all the time. She has a corporate job. She's all corporatosity.
And
it's just an eye roll.
Endless.
Yeah, it's just an eye roll.
Ugh.
So it can be, pointless.
Yeah.
And it can be just, and that's the worst part. It's like, this is an hour I could have been doing something productive.
Exactly.
But you can't discount the concept of the collaboration, of the seeing the people we work with, of being accountable to one another.
Sure.
So depending on what that is, and if it's on Zoom or in person, on Zoom, it's really easy for me to like open up Facebook on another window and look at it. And it still looks like I'm looking at the camera.
Right.
On just a conference call with no Zoom, obviously there's, or if you can put your camera off, there's no end to the candies I can crush.
Yeah, exactly.
Or the fish I can match. It's harder to do like Words with Friends because that takes brain power.
Right. And there's so many people talking.
Yeah, I can't listen to like I'll put on a podcast and listen to whatever stuff you should know is
Right.
the one that I listen to a lot.
Right.
And, play Candy Crush or whatever.
Sure.
But if I'm playing Words with Friends, I can't keep track of what the podcast is saying.
Of course.
Because they're both using like languagey letters and
Right.
all that kind of wordy stuff.
Right.
Anyway.
That part of your brain fizzles out and sparks.
Exactly. So, Carly, it can be a drag. I don't know which category of all this you fall into, but maybe if you can look at, well, it's kind of like the legal system. It's like the rights and all the loopholes and stuff, because it's better to let 10 guilty men go free than convict an innocent one.
Right.
Which, I mean, I'm not going to get into a political thing here.
Right.
People can think whatever they want, but it's like better to have 10 meetings and 8.5 of them are fucking eye rollers.
Right.
But you
But you
the
get
players.
that one that's
you get
really
that, well, you get that
helpful.
1.5.
Yeah, exactly.
You get that 1.5, and like maybe in those something really funny happens, and
Yeah.
it's the thing you talk about at the company picnic.
Right.
So I get it. Try to keep yourself entertained as much as you can.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, hopefully that helps. I know how shitty work meetings can really be, but
How did I work Miranda rights into that question
I
about
don't
meetings
know.
at work?
it's pretty spectacular. You do amazing verbal gymnastics through all these. Let's move on to question number 2. And question number 2 is from a nice lady named Angie.
Angie.
And Angie asks, "Greeting, Lori, Beth, and Clark. I recently entered the dating scene after a 2-year break, 2020 being mostly to blame. Searching high and low, I began talking to 2 guys, and I've also been on a few dates with them as well. I don't have much chemistry with the first one, although I do find him attractive. The second one, I don't have much chemistry with either, but he treats me well in a way that I haven't been treated in a long time, but I don't find him very attractive. It got me thinking, and I want both your opinions. Could you ever date someone you weren't physically attracted to? Best wishes and love from Union City, California."
Union City. I wonder where that is.
I don't know. I'm from California, and I have no clue where Union City is.
Me neither. All right, Angie, right?
Angie.
Thank you, Angie. That is a
Yeah.
very honest and interesting question.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. What I don't have is your experience of a man treating me well.
Yeah. There.
So I
yeah.
don't have that to compare it to. But if you said you've only been out with him a couple times,
Yeah.
is that what she said?
Yep.
So it's still new and it's still, unknown.
Mhm.
And you seem to be dating them both.
Yeah.
So, I mean, keep it straight. Don't call the other one the other guy's name. Don't accidentally make dates with both of them at the same restaurant on the same night.
She didn't say that she lived in a sitcom, so
Yes.
hopefully none of those things will ever happen.
Nothing goes on in my brain that's not in a sitcom. You know that. Our wacky neighbors are bing bong. Oh, here he is. Get him, Bags. So, Angie, it seems like it's new and not being attracted physically. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the thing. It's, we're all shallow.
Right.
I mean, we're not, but it's like the first thing you do is see somebody.
Sure.
Unless you're blind or you meet on the phone or whatever.
Right.
So, we talked last week about me doing phone sex. I bet they weren't picturing me. I didn't
Maybe.
describe myself.
You don't know.
as-
You don't know.
exactly. But being attracted to someone, there's all the other facets of their character.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of really ugly people that are married. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like that's one of these things over the years where it's like Rick Ocasek and Paulina Poroskova.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone under 60, please look them up on the internet.
That'll be a really
Yeah.
funny joke for you once you've figured it out.
Yes, and then there's like talent involved and humor, and
Yeah.
not necessarily with Rick Ocasek. I don't know if he's a funny guy.
He might be
But
hilarious.
he's-
He could have been hilarious.
No, but he's a talented musician.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if there was someone you don't say you find him repulsive.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing. It's you're like,
it.
I'm not attracted to him, but or not necessarily. What did she say?
She said she doesn't find him attractive.
She doesn't find him attractive.
Yeah.
Physically, I'm assuming.
I'm assuming, yeah.
So, and the other guy you say you are attracted to, but you don't feel spark.
He doesn't have much chemistry with
Yeah,
her.
there's no chemistry. So, I don't know. I would, part of this is what I'll say. And you don't have to, and I'm one to talk because the way I work, but this isn't say that we're just talking about the guy that you're not that attracted to who treats you better than you ever have been before.
Right.
You don't have to decide and get married to him Thursday.
Absolutely not.
You can just hang out. You can get to know him better.
Absolutely.
Which is important for anyone.
Absolutely.
So I don't know someone that I've found unattractive.
Well, let me say
what
this.
ugly bitch did you date, Clark?
Let me say this. There have definitely been multiple people in my life that I've dated, including my wife, that the amount of attraction I had for them grew as we knew each other.
Yeah.
Maybe it didn't start out as like, oh, you instantly want to jump your bones. Like I saw when I first met my wife, I of course thought she was beautiful and I thought she was great and funny and hilarious, but I didn't know her. And it's hard for me to really feel attracted to somebody if I don't know that they aren't horrible human beings.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It could go the other way.
Exactly. I've always felt like I have to kind of hold that back until I know a person.
Yeah.
So that might be a huge part of it. Maybe once you get to know this guy that you might not be that attracted to now, if he's really funny or really smart or really charming and he does stuff and you like doing stuff with him, you could grow to love this guy immensely. Would be incredibly attracted to him.
Yeah.
Because you're attracted to the person, not just the face.
Exactly. And then you could meet someone super hot and then you're like, oh, and they love Nazis and circus peanuts.
Exactly.
And that's not going to work for me. But it could work for a while, maybe.
I mean, I can't imagine there's anyone out there who likes both Nazis and circus peanuts.
But they're both terrible.
Right. So how can some person like both? Maybe one, but both?
There's a lot of bad people in the world, Clark. Take off your rose-colored glasses and come join me behind my dark, spooky one-way mirror. Or go two-way mirror? Which one you can look through?
Yeah, it's a two-way mirror.
Yeah, one-way mirror would just be a mirror.
A mirror.
Get to know this guy.
Yeah. If he's not perfect, you don't find him attractive after a couple of dates.
Yeah, I think in there. I can't remember. One of my exes, a couple exes ago, was kind of a mess just physically when I met him. I met him in my sobriety group, and he was just not doing great, and new and this and stuff, and
technically that's where you usually are when you join a group like that.
Everything's so great. I thought I'd come here. That's what somebody said. No one gets here on a winning streak.
Yeah, exactly.
But I maybe was attracted to him. I don't know. He looked much older than he actually was, and that was a joke. So we met, and I thought he was 50.
Right.
And then he was like, "I'm 42," and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry about that." But yeah, could I date someone I wasn't immediately attracted to? Probably.
Yeah.
Could I date someone that treated me very, very well? I would hope so. I don't have the anecdotal evidence for that, Angie.
Yet to occur yet.
Yeah, exactly. So. One day.
Yeah, one day.
But you don't have to. I mean, I guess if you're like, I'm not attracted to him, and he's like, hey, do you want to come to my house? Like, I understand that, what Angie might be saying, but you can set your boundaries as well and say, I just need to get to know you and
string them along for good reasons.
Yeah. Or he could just be fantastic in bed.
Yeah, who knows?
So, I mean, and when your eyes are crossed and your toes are curled, you'd be like, I do find you attractive.
I am so attracted to you.
I am attractivo. to you.
That's a very good point.
So yeah, you didn't say you were repulsed by him.
Yeah.
And you didn't say that people stare at you when you're in public.
Right.
But you did say you went out a couple times.
Yeah.
So give it some time.
Yeah.
See what's up.
If it's not perfect, it's not perfect and it won't work out.
Yeah.
So let
Or if he's the best person in the world, poke your eyes out.
the perfect solution. That is some
you know what? Let's go
solid
back
bad
and
advice.
we're gonna edit out. Oh, that's right. That is so we'll edit out everything we said and just say that. That is again why this is called bad advice.
Exactly. That is some solid bad advice. There you go, Angie. All right. Moving on. We've got question number 3, and it's from somebody named Macy. And Macy asks, I started sleeping with my coworker during the pandemic. We have great chemistry, hey, and we were in the same bubble. He's in seminary school, and I'm a different religion, so I knew it wasn't going anywhere. Throughout the pandemic, he would guiltily break it off, then start up again. I tried switching shifts to let things cool off, but once we started working together, we started sleeping together again. Should I quit my job?
Oh, who's this from?
Macy.
Macy? I would report him to the seminary.
Right?
Say, this person is with you and he's shooting his seminary all inside me.
Father O'Flanagan keeps sleeping with me.
I know. That just sounds like a mess. I mean, you're not saying I'm in love with this guy. And, it's just, that's what happens when you run into someone at your job who's also in the seminary and wants to have sex.
I think this is kind of the opposite question of Angie's. This is kind of like, she's having sex with this dude and she finds him attractive, but she knows that he's not right for her.
Or maybe it's just the opposite because Angie's guy is a rabbi. Yeah, Macy, don't quit your fucking job over a weird guy who's clearly mixed up of his own accord.
Yeah.
Here's what I will say. Ideally, you have the power over your mind and body to not have sex with him.
That would be good.
No one's saying, well, he's right there.
Right, yeah.
Let me say a little prayer over his dick and it'll get hard. Don't quit your job.
Or let me throw this out there.
What?
Keep having sex with him. Keep sleeping with them as much as you like. And when you're done, tell him God said you should stop.
Oh, snap.
Right? What is he going to say?
Ah, damn it. Yeah, I mean, it seems like fun. It seems like Borden, pandemic Borden.
Yeah.
Borden. Wow, Jesus.
It's pandemic Lizzie Borden.
Exactly. Pandemic boredom.
There you go.
Thank you.
No axes involved.
You're not in love with this guy.
No.
He sounds like a tool.
Father O'Toole.
Don't quit your job. If
Yeah.
you want to change shifts, if you can go for it. But I would love to see you take some autonomy over your body. Hey, he's not forcing himself on you. He's not, the power of Christ is not compelling you to engage with his penile. So that's up to you to say no.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think it's going anywhere, what with him being a priest and such.
And let me just throw this out as a guy.
Do people in seminaries go out and just have like a job?
I guess.
Like, are seminary students also like, I gotta get to Subway, got some food to make?
The thing that threw me off was the fact that it sounded almost like they were in seminary together. But then I'm like, no, it's a co-worker. I don't know. It was a very confusing.
Yeah, no, what I took from it is that in his time off from practicing to be a priest or whatever,
he's working at Subway.
He works wherever they work.
Right.
So, Mary, don't quit your job.
Let me just throw out also from a guy's perspective. Guys sleep with whoever they want to fucking sleep with. And they don't care. And when they're done, they just stop sleeping with that person.
Wait, you said guys sleep with whoever they want to sleep with. Do you mean whoever lets them sleep with them?
Well, yeah, I'm saying like whoever wants to sleep with them. Yeah, I'm saying.
You said it in a very different way.
No, that's not what I meant. It's not what I meant. What I'm saying is guys never feel guilty for having sex whether it's with somebody that's their girlfriend or if they're just going on a fling.
Yeah.
Like, they don't care. They don't get shit for it.
But did he say, wait,
She's sleeping with him.
No,
She's
I know,
sleeping
but
with
she
this
said
dude.
that they kind of broke it off, but was it him that broke it off? I thought I heard the word guilty.
He would guiltily break it off.
Yes.
He would.
So
if she didn't want to break it off, if she's having fun, sleeping
yeah,
with
if you're
this
having
dude,
fun, but if
have
this,
fun with this dude.
Yeah, but he also sounds like a fucking drag.
Yeah.
Like,
well,
you don't,
that's
it's
true
not
too.
like your vagina is a pit of shame. It may be to him, but that's why it's your vagina. You can decide what light gets to shine in.
That's true. That's very, very
Find
true.
a Buddhist.
There you go. Go to a different seminary.
Exactly. Don't quit your job. I've said that like 42 times,
Yes,
but
please
like,
don't.
fuck that noise.
Yeah, absolutely.
This episode is brought to you by HP Plus. In a world full of smart devices, shouldn't your printer be smart too? It is with HP Plus. These printers know when they're running low, so you always get the ink you need delivered right when you need it. Plus, you save up to 50% on ink, so you can print whatever you want, as much as you want, anytime you want. Huh, that is pretty smart. Get 6 free months of instant ink when you choose HP Plus. Conditions apply. Visit hp.com/smart for details.
Hi everyone, I'm Haley Hasselhoff, and this is your invitation to join me each week for my podcast, Redefine You, a conversation for well-being. We are all on a journey, and it can be tough, but I want you to know it's okay to not be okay. There's so much strength and vulnerability, and I'm here to show you just that. Each week, experts and my friends in the entertainment world will open up like never before, speaking to us about their journey to ownership to self and their personal relationship with their mental well-being. Redefine You, a conversation for well-being, is available on your favorite podcast app. Remember to subscribe and download so you don't miss an episode.
Thank you so much, Macy. We really hope that you helped. Hope that helped. And that was our third question, which means it is time for our rotating segment of the week. And this one is one of our favorites. It's Inevitable Information.
Oh.
And now, Lori Beth Denberg with more inevitable information for your everyday lives.
Thank you, Soup.
Soup.
Yay.
So shameless plug, because I wanted to remind you all about GalaxyCon.
Yes.
Which is August 8th. I'm sure it's more than that, but if you want to see me.
Yeah.
It's me, Danny Tamborelli, Stephen Glickman, and Michael Morona. That's Michael C. Morona. The C stands for Craig. That's my lovelies that I worked with at Nickelodeon. We're doing a Nickelodeon panel with interactive Q&A and then private video chats and hellos and not hugs, but as close to hugs as we can come, and then autographs. So that's coming up, and I'm preparing for it and want you guys to know about it. And that got me thinking about other cons that I've done.
Yeah.
And it was like, that's some fun stuff to like reminisce about.
Well, not only that, but this is the time of year. Like
the
end of July, or all of July really, is a major con season.
And that's part of it too, is and then Clark also brought it up when I got here. You know, my Facebook memories today are
just today.
All from literally today, the day we are recording this, are from, I don't know, 3-4 years ago, whenever it was. And it's me, Karen, and Clark, and my friend Wes at San Diego Comic-Con.
Yep.
I had gone there with Kel, Josh, and Danny. I think it was the four of us.
Yeah, it was just like a reunion.
Yeah, to do a reunion panel.
Yeah.
And then it was right when the Legends of the Hidden Temple movie was coming out. So they came out and were part of our panel.
Yeah.
And it was just really cool. And so there's like all these on Facebook, pictures of me in my Double Dare outfit.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah, those were really fun. Except that Double Dare, this is my story from that one. Well, that was a great, but you know, and I might have even talked about this before, but we had to run the little, you know, we played.
Right.
There were teams of regular people, fans.
Right.
And then there was one of us, me or Cal or Danny or Josh on one of the teams. So we ran the little obstacle course at the end.
Right. You picked the nose.
I picked the nose. I
Nice.
did pick the nose.
Nice.
Except I didn't.
What?
Because the guy who put the flag in there was really tall.
Oh.
And he
Oh,
legit
no.
put the flag too high up.
Oh no.
Like literally a foot above, like with my tit squeezed in the nostril.
In the nostril.
And I couldn't get it. And then Mark's making fun of me, Mark
Oh,
Summers, because it's
no.
taking so long. And he's like, just keep going. And I was like, this isn't fair.
Well, that's so funny that you said that, because I just finished watching the Orange documentary.
Oh, that's right. The Orange Years.
The Orange Years. And there's that scene in that documentary where they're talking, and I think they have a clip of it from the first show that they recorded, where there was like the big final obstacle course where you have to do this and find a flag, and then you pass it over your friend and you have to do this with the flag. And they couldn't get past the first challenge because they had to get a flag out of a pillow. And this girl is pulling all the feathers out of the pillow. And it turned out there was no flag in there.
Oh, that's right.
Like the guy forgot to put the flag in. So they had to like cut and then refilm everything.
Oh, but good for that girl. How sad is that?
How sad is that?
I know how sad it is.
To not get that flag.
I mean, not as bad, because I could look up and just be like,
see it in the distance.
Fucking Mr. Tickle. Shove this shit up at the top. So I was like, oh, that sucks. But also at that one, that was the San Diego Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Karen and Clark, we should say. Yeah. Clark is a longtime con man.
Yeah. So I've been going to San Diego Comic-Con since late 90s. Late 90s-ish, maybe 98, 99. And I've gone almost every single year since. It's such a tradition for me. I go with my whole family. Well, not my whole family, but my wife and my kid now.
Yeah.
And I used to, stay in hotels with my best friend. Or did we ever go? No, you never went to.
No, I never went to a con.
Until this one.
I was backstage pass material.
Exactly. But so I've always loved these comic conventions. They're so much fun. They always have such obscure shit.
Yeah.
Right? There's obscure shit to see. There's obscure shit to buy.
Yep.
It's just really, really fun when you like random pop culture nonsense.
Yeah, and so Clark is a comic book kid through and through as well.
Yeah, so like when you say your Facebook memories today are like, oh, all from 3 years ago when we were at con on this day, my memories from this year is literally 15 different years of here's you and your wife when you first met. Here's you and your kid when he was 3. Here's you with a transformer on your head. All this random shit.
Yeah.
So cons are my thing. I love conventions.
So that was what was good. Like Clark, when they were going to Comic-Con San Diego the year we were there.
Yeah.
And you came to, it was called Kamikaze Con.
Yeah, here in LA.
You came with me the first time I did that.
Yes, that was Stan Lee's Kamikaze.
You know what? It wasn't at the beginning. I think it became Stan Lee's Kamikaze Con. Yes. R.I.P.
Oh, R.I.P.
Stan
L.E.
Lee. I know. He's yummy.
He was a good guy.
He was.
I met him.
So you're in love with him. He spoke at my ex's graduation.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was really strange. It was like, okay.
Did he say Excelsior?
He didn't. He had a seat. He might have.
He might have.
I don't know.
He said Excelsior a lot.
But he was a wonderful smush.
Yeah.
So the point is that was San Diego Comic-Con. Some other great memories for that is back in the 90s, shockingly.
Yeah.
They opened this, the Viacom store.
Oh, is that like the take on the WB store?
Yeah, something like that. But it was like, because at that point, I mean, Viacom is everything now. But back in the day, it was like the sister networks. It was MTV, VH1, Nickelodeon.
Right.
Now there's like a kajillion more things.
Right.
So this Viacom store was like, loot. It was stuff. And they made all that t-shirts. There are 2 t-shirts with my face on.
Yes.
One is cool, and it's a Vital Information t-shirt.
I have that one.
Oh, you do?
I do. You gave me one of those.
Oh, good. And then one was a Loud Librarian shirt, which, I understand why it was bright yellow with like me, and it's me with a, what's the thing?
A jackhammer.
Jackhammer.
Yeah.
And that was a great jackhammer.
That was a
Michael
good noise.
Winslow just rolled over in his grave. Again, look that up.
So many reasons.
Again, look that up. Everyone under 50. So there was that shirt, and I had one. I gave it to my friend Wes, who came with me as my friend / not bodyguard, but you know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm always a little overwhelmed and I'm like, can you be with me and we'll go together?
Yeah.
So he is wearing and I told him, I'm like, do that. That'll be so fucking funny.
Right?
So he's wearing the shirt with me on it with me.
That's funny.
So that was really fun. But then, and you might have seen this because you were there. You weren't right there, but we were doing an autograph signing and there was this, I colored the Chew Baby. There was this little girl, maybe 3.
Okay.
Dressed as Chewbacca.
Oh, no.
She was the cutest effing thing. She was so cute, I'm not even going to actually swear about her.
In case she's still listening and still 3.
Oh no, you know what though? I got a picture of her. She was so cute. I like stopped signing autographs and I asked her mom, can we please take a picture together? So flippin' cute, this girl. And I have a picture. I'm going to put it on Instagram.
Yeah.
At LB Denberg on Instagram.
Yeah.
.com, as I like to say for no reason. So that, I mean, she was just adorable.
Well, that's like part of my favorite things about going to con. I went to con. So one of the first few years, maybe like the first year or two that I went, I was convinced because at that time, late 90s, I was still finishing up working at Universal. So I was still dressing up like Beetlejuice 3 or 4 times a week or so.
So could you take that costume and wear it?
I did.
Oh, but you weren't supposed to.
I was not. And it
was... So, Clark, that's such a Crozer move.
It was really fun, but it wasn't my thing. I loved doing the show at Universal and singing and dancing and performing, but I could not enjoy myself at con because I couldn't get pictures? 2 feet. Without somebody like, hey, can I get a picture? Hey, can I get a picture? Hey, can I get a picture? And you're like, yeah, great. And that's really fun for the first maybe 20 minutes.
Yeah.
But then after an hour of it, you're like, I just want to be alone.
Welcome to my world, Clark. No, I know what you mean, because that's the difference between, you know, having dressed up one time and being a cosplayer.
Yeah.
Cosplayers want that.
Exactly.
You know, it's almost like they work for the... You know,
for the convention or whatever.
They're the costume characters of that I was afraid of at Disneyland.
Exactly.
But yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So that's always been such a hard thing for me. But I adore seeing people and how creative they are. And it's just sometimes I love the amalgamation outfits. I love the outfits where it's like practically. I saw one kid who had. He was in a wheelchair, and his whole wheelchair, they built a giant Rancor hand, like in Star Wars, how the Rancor picks up Luke Skywalker.
Okay.
He had like a giant Rancor hand wrapped around the wheelchair. So it looked like he was rolling around and there was just this disembodied Rancor hand that was moving him around. It was weird as fuck and so awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. I love the creative people at these cons.
It's and the time put in and all that kind of stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
But and I actually, because what was really cool too is, you know, people have always recognized me and everyone goes, oh, you're so great. I wish you're on TV. You know, even people in my life, they're like, you have such a following. You should really blah, blah, blah. But I was always like, yeah, what? Not really.
Yeah.
But then when I went to the first con I did was I did the Kamikaze Con. It was smaller. But when I went to New York 5, 6, I don't know how many years ago, to New York Comic-Con, it was really cool. And when you walk in and you see not even the audience that's in for the panel, but the huge line of people that couldn't get in.
Yeah.
I'm like walking by them and they were like super excited to see me. And I'm like, hi, you know, I love meeting people.
Yeah.
It would have been a lot to hug everybody in that moment. But
thinking back on it now, though.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I should have taken the opportunity.
Well, but this leads me to a question. You know, I was with you at Kamikaze, that very first one. I was your bodyguard.
Yes.
I came with you. And we kind of like snuck in through some back door. Like we didn't know where we were going. We finally got in.
Yeah.
And you got in, pulled out immediately to go do the panel.
Yes.
And then as soon as you were done with the panel, you came out and you signed autographs at the little booth. I think you just went home after, like, you never actually got to experience the con.
No, nor did I in New York, but in San Diego.
Okay.
I did.
Good.
Because we were done with the panel on like Saturday and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But you and Karen and Lex were there.
Yeah.
And so Wes, my friend that was wearing he didn't wear my face on his chest the second day. I think he did bring an alternate shirt. But we met you in
the convention center.
The convention center.
Yeah.
And did walk around and did get to see it.
Yes.
And it was okay. I'm not going around going like, has anybody seen all that? I believe there's someone from there. So that was really cool too.
Yeah.
And I remember Lex was just in a poopy mood. I mean, he was 3.
Yeah, maybe.
He was like
Could've been
3
2.
years old, and he was just like, this is a lot. I've got some pictures of the 3 of you with some sort of monster.
Yeah, I'm
tall
sure.
thingy.
Sure.
But that was really fun.
Yeah.
Because I got to actually go through and see some stuff.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. So it's fun. I mean, and obviously it's a great way. If you can get your travel and hotel covered and be a backstage pass holder, that's a great way to experience Comic-Con.
Absolutely.
But yeah, they're just funny. Please remind me to put up the picture of Chew Baby.
Okay.
Chew Baby was the cutest. And
yeah.
And I told Karen about her that day.
Okay.
And then Karen found some other thing published.
Right.
Where like some emails.
No, it's just some blog. Yeah, some
internet,
blog.
something about it. And they put a picture of Chew Baby on there.
Yes.
That's how cute this girl was.
Yeah.
That it wasn't just
sounds
me.
familiar.
It wasn't just me.
Yeah.
So I'll put that up. Give some likes to Chew Baby. She needs some love.
Well, yeah.
So well, that really petered out, didn't it? So anyway, going into GalaxyCon on the 8th.
Yes.
I'm excited to get to interact with you guys, and hopefully it'll be fun, but hopefully, I mean, it will be fun, but hopefully I'll get to go to one in person, because it really is the mishmash of people and nerds.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting though? I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
When I doing these cons, the amount of people that are on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum, Asperger's, all that kind of stuff, that come to those cons, and who came to get our autographs and stuff, was really staggering. There was just like opportunity after opportunity after opportunity to connect with someone who has problem with connection.
Yeah.
You know, they're autistic, but they're sitting there telling me how much they love the show and
how much it meant to them, personal stories.
Exactly. And all that kind of stuff. And then of course there's like the super like maybe savant-y ones that are like in episode 4 when you said, and he's like telling me about sketches I did. And I'm like, I guess I believe you, because I do not remember. But the fact that, you know, that whatever it is about that stuff that people on the spectrum can really relate to and hook into. And I was talking to somebody else who does had done and does a lot more cons than I have, and they say, yeah, that's always the case.
Always.
And that was really really interesting to me, and just really nice to be able to connect with people that have trouble with connection, and we had something to connect about.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking as somebody who's been going to these cons for over 20 years, absolutely 100% that's true. I think it's a safe space. Yeah. I think it's a good environment and a safe space for these people to finally feel free to act how they are, right? To not be embarrassed, to not be ashamed. They can be proud of who they are, no matter what.
And what they love.
And it makes everyone so happy.
Yeah, that was a really neato bandito part of it for me.
Yeah, I agree. I do love cons. Those are so much fun. But before we go too far here, we do have one last question, and it's a bit of a doozy. So let's get to our final question, and we can go from there. So this last question is from Laura. And Laura says, how do I casually tell people my husband is dead when it's necessary to do so, of course, without making everything weird for everyone involved? I'll give a few uncomfortable examples. I know it's on other people to act right, but I don't think these are necessarily bad or ill-intentioned questions or whatever. It just happens. And a lot of it is because I often still wear my rings. So here's example number 1. I got my hair done the other day by someone new. She was just making conversation and asked if I was married or had kids. I told her I had a daughter and that I was married, but my husband died in January. This led into her talking about death and him visiting my dreams and both of us crying. I know I could avoid it all by just saying I'm not married, but I don't want to feel like I have to hide my truth. Example number 2. There's a neighborhood restaurant where the 3 of us were regulars for years, and they've watched Helen grow up. I'm avoiding going back, even though she begs me to, for this exact reason. I don't want another weird conversation when they ask where Augie is or comment that he hasn't been in a while. I know a lot of the weirdness is because people don't know how to deal with grief, their own or others. I certainly don't. Or, like the restaurant, will be upset themselves when they learn about it. I'm not being very succinct here, but it boils down to me not knowing how to talk about his death to people in casual situations in a way that minimizes discomfort all around. And again, I know that's not my responsibility, but that's what I'm asking. If you were the hairdresser or the client or the restaurant owner or whatever, what could I say? How could I phrase it to allow us to continue our interaction in a normal way?
Wow.
This is Laura.
Laura.
Yep.
Well, first of all, I'm very sorry about the loss of your husband.
Yeah.
I'm very sorry about that.
Yeah.
For what that's worth.
Yeah.
This question is kind of blowing my mind. A very good friend of mine just lost her husband.
That's right.
Yeah. And he had health problems for many years. He was very young. A week ago would have been his 56th birthday.
Wow.
And he went into the hospital in February, I think, and was in ICU and just getting worse and all of this shit going wrong. And finally it was time to
say goodbye.
Yeah, to say goodbye and stop the machines. And I've been with my friend through all of it. Luckily, she has a lot of support.
Okay, good.
I'm one of the pockets of support, but I live close by.
Okay, good.
And I help her with her dog, so I was in and out a lot.
Yeah. Plus, you're always good in stressful situations.
You want me in a crisis, yeah. And I make horribly awesome jokes constantly.
You're a fantastic crisis companion.
Constantly.
Yeah.
And which she appreciates. Obviously, if you were like, I don't like it, like I wouldn't keep doing it. But she loves it and she really appreciates it.
Right.
Like they had decided based on his DNR and all like his living will and stuff that he didn't want to be kept alive by machines. So at some point it was time to honor that and, take the respirator out.
Yeah.
And this motherfucker didn't have the decency to die for like 36 hours.
Oh no.
They took the respirator out on Sunday at 3 p.m. and he finally did pass away Tuesday morning really early.
Oof.
And in the middle day, my friend was at the hospital and we're talking on the phone. And I'm like, can you just tell him like to fucking die? Because we have shit to do.
Whoa.
And my friend's laughing, like that's the kind of thing I have to say.
And of course, this is, 5-6 months of him being in the hospital and her her knowing that he was going to die and all this stuff. That's the kind of
thing. And then I had been at her house all day. A couple of my friends had like doing paperwork and looking for stuff. And she's at the hospital and then they get home and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. And I got home and a couple minutes later, I got the call, can you come back and take the dogs in case I get called in the middle of the night?
Right.
And so I come back acting all pissy and I go, you know what? I'm not going to help you when your next husband dies. And she's just laughing. It's I'm good in a crisis.
Yeah.
Like I am good in it.
You are
my life.
excellent in a crisis.
Yeah, my life has set me up to be good in a crisis.
You were good in a crisis when you were in high school.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this was a lifelong
this is a skill. This is a life skill. But that's why I'm a good medical advocate for like my dad.
Yeah.
Is I ask the questions I need to ask. I make a personal connection with the, anesthesiologist, doctor, surgeon, nurse, whatever it is. Because that's part of how I gauge, like, how is this going to go?
Yeah.
If I say something to you, and it's not like they have to be like laughing at my 5-minute set of, stand up.
Right.
But if I can make a personal connection, and then I can make jokes, but I ask, is his blood sugar going to be monitored throughout this? I ask all the questions, but the last thing I always say to my dad when he's going into surgery and I'm leaving, I go, have fun.
Right.
Like, what are you going to say?
Yeah. Well, my question was, your friend, does she have to, do you have to stay at the hospital once they pull
No, you
the
don't.
plug?
No, you don't. And there was a bunch of them there.
Yeah.
And they were just there to be there.
Okay.
And then it kept going and he
Yeah.
kept breathing and
Yeah.
he kept breathing. And it was like, okay, well.
Like at a certain point, you're looking at your watch going,
know.
hey, TikTok here,
Well,
guy.
at one point I was like, they could have seen 2 movies. So at some point they did leave, and this has gone very far afield.
Yeah,
But
it's
Laura,
all right.
the point is that very recently,
Yeah.
my friend did lose her husband.
Yeah.
And I encountered this exact situation because she and I went to the Hollywood Bowl. It was the 4th of July.
Yeah.
And at the Hollywood Bowl on the 4th of July, they honor all the military.
Right.
In the first half of the show, they play all of the anthems of each branch of the military, and everybody stands up who was in that branch. And my friend's husband was a career Air Force guy.
Okay.
So I had said to her, this, and he'd already passed away. I said, this could be the worst idea or the best idea, but do you want to, let's go to the Hollywood Bowl and you can stand up for him.
Right.
When they say Air Force.
When they start playing Highway to the Danger Zone.
When they do that.
For the Air Force.
That is the Air Force
The
song.
Air Force song.
But, and then we'll see a show and we'll be out and we'll see fireworks.
Yeah.
So that's what we did. And she stood up and both of us started to cry and she goes to sit down. And there's a couple behind us, and the woman leans forward and she says, "Thank you for your service." And my friend turns around with kind of tears in her eyes because we were already kind of teared up. And she said, "It was actually my husband. He just passed away." And the woman just shrank into
Crumbled.
herself
Ugh.
because she felt so badly and she didn't know what to say. She just looked so, and I kind of gave her like don't worry. I wish that I had had another moment to connect with her.
Yeah.
To say, don't worry about it.
It's okay.
But that is the reaction, just like Laura's gotten, where people just don't know how to handle it.
Yeah.
And it's very strange that it, not to make something less of my 2 new friends now, Laura and my friend who lost her husband.
Yeah.
But once a dog died in my living room.
Okay. Yes.
And this was really my first true experience with the weirdness that human beings have with death.
Yeah.
Because this dog was sick.
Yeah.
This dog was old and sick. I was
Yeah.
watching it for a friend who went out of town. And I woke up in the morning and the dog was dead. She
Yeah.
had passed away.
Yeah.
Bubbles.
Ooh.
And I was so freaked out and I couldn't touch her and I needed to pick her up and take her to the vet. And I couldn't do it. And what's so weird is I knew in my brain that if I had been on the floor with her a minute before she died, I would have been biting her cheek and kissing her face.
Right. But now
This dog was no longer alive and dead. And I was just
scared to touch it.
I just couldn't.
Yeah.
I just couldn't. I ended up, I got a friend to come and help me lift her up and I took her to the vet. But it was really like, wow, death, at least in our culture, it's so fucking weird. And people have that reaction to it. you know, when you say to someone like this woman at the Hollywood Bowl, you know, oh, my husband just died.
Yeah.
And my friend was, you know, upset. This had just happened. We
Right.
were going to this thing to stand up for him for the Air Force, and it was going to be emotional.
Right.
So there was that palpable sadness and emotion.
This was literally like a week or two after the plug was pulled, right?
Oh yeah.
Like,
I think
maybe
less
even days.
Yeah, it was maybe a week.
Yeah.
It was because I remember I told her about it while he was still
Oh yeah,
like
alive.
during the death vigil when
Yeah,
he just wouldn't let it go. I said, this is just like your husband, to be stubborn till the very last friggin' second. And she, you know, she's laughing at all of that. But so yeah, the way this very nice woman who had thanked my friend for her service and was reaching out to connect, that she just shrank into herself with such regret for having brought it up.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not right.
Right. And it's kind of like exactly what Laura is saying.
Exactly.
Like, that's not her responsibility to do anything.
Yes.
However, when she sees it happening, it's like, I feel like I should be doing something.
Yeah, it's difficult. So Laura, I would say we know that people have this reaction.
Yeah.
I don't know where you are with, I mean, you say that you still wear your ring sometimes, you know, you say, I like that you said, I think I heard like mentioning that my husband passed away when I need to. It's not like you're going in everywhere like table for one, my husband passed away.
Exactly.
Is there a wait? No, I don't want to sit at the bar. What do you have?
Neither my dead husband never liked sitting at the bars.
No. My husband and I always sat at the bar.
I don't know if I can do it anymore.
Painful.
Exactly.
So Laura, I don't know where you are at with your grief, with what space you're in about it.
Right.
Because I mean, and it's easy for me to say, most people agree that I'm funny and quick-witted, but to be able to take the air out of it with a joke or, you know, something like that, could be helpful. Yeah. Or to even just say, don't worry about it. I know death is weird. We're fine.
Yeah.
You know, just something, if you can take it upon yourself, again, it not being your, you know, job.
Right.
But you know that people are weird about death and then they don't know how to treat you. It's this weird, you know, are you very upset? Should I not have mentioned it? I'm sorry I brought it up. Did I bring something up that you weren't thinking about and now you are? Like all of this goes through people. And I know, Laura, that you see it on their face. You can see people's brains like clicking around, working that out. So, you know, if you have to bring it up, maybe preface it with something like, now don't worry. Yeah. But, you know, or my husband's dead. Yeah, he passed away January. We're doing okay. Whatever it is.
Right. Or, I mean, another way that I was thinking about, you could be overly honest about it too and just say like, hey, I'm freshly widowed and I'm still a little sensitive about it.
Yeah.
And just ending it at that would be like, I feel like you would get a quick response of like, oh, sorry, and then move on.
But what I think she was saying, she was saying like, how do I casually mention it? Yeah. Like there's sometimes when you just got to be like, well, no, my husband passed away. Right. And it's not Laura going, and this is a moment I'm having. It's just stuff like that comes up. And then it becomes a bigger deal in the moment for someone in that conversation with you. Right. That, and you're just like, oh, it's really okay. Yeah. Like, no, I didn't want my husband to die. It's been 6 months. Yeah. I'm dealing with it. But it's like when you just have to kind of mention something. Right. But so if you can disarm it or you know, have a stock line that you say, you know, my husband passed away. We're
okay.
Fine.
I'm over it. Or not over it, but I'm dealing.
Or like, I know death is weird, but don't worry about it. Yeah. Just something to take the air out of the situation. Yeah. And let the other person off the hook. Because part of it is they want to do what's going to be best for you. Right. And they don't know you. Right. A new hairdresser isn't like, well, I know where you are.
Right. Exactly. You know? Exactly.
So, but
Point
also,
out the elephant in the room.
Yeah, but also, Laura, play that fucking widow card.
Oh.
That's what I told my friend that had breast cancer. I'm like, okay, first of all, we got this diagnosis, and then we discussed the options, and then I'm like, and now we are playing the cancer card.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that? When we went to do 90s trivia?
No.
We went to a vacation with the girls group, who my friend, whose husband died, is part of that.
Part of that.
And it was this kind of resorty place, and they had little activities, and
Of
one of
course.
them was a 90s trivia.
Oh no.
And I was like, we are fucking going to that.
right?
And then we I know we're probably running long, but I'm
That's
going to tell this story.
Yeah.
There a lot of my friends, you don't quite do it because you know that I'm bullshit, but like I'll make a joke about something and then they just go along with it. Like we're sitting there and it was just the four of us.
Okay.
No one else showed up to 90s trivia.
Sure.
So then
God.
it was just the four of us. And so we all were different on different teams. We weren't teamed up. So
Yeah.
I'm like, you'll be Gryffindor, you'll be Hufflepuff. And I was Slytherin, and you're Ravenclaw. And they were like, okay. And in my head, I was like, why are you letting me do this? And then what was funny about that was, like, when my friend Heather was like, Hufflepuff, because you had to, like, say your team name.
Oh, no, she couldn't remember it.
Yeah, and they did it a couple times. And I said, why are you letting me do this to you? It was just like, why? You should take 8.5 things that I say as nothing.
True. Yes, it's very
And once
true.
I'll be like, you got a package, and they're like, I really did. But then it was Gryffindor, my friend who had breast cancer, and so the whole time we were like, it was like, play the cancer card, all this stuff, and then and 90s trivia was like, one of the answers was all that.
Oh, really?
50% of the answers were people I knew personally.
Right.
And then, but at the end, I was like, hey, best friend name. I tried.
Call her Ravenclaw.
Yeah, she was Gryffindor. I'm
Oh,
like,
okay.
hey, Gryffindor, why don't you tell her you have breast cancer? Maybe she'll give you extra points. And I said it so that the chickie that was running it, I mean, it's just 5 of us in a room,
Right.
and we're just having a good time.
Right.
And she looked like, oh no. And then she was like, I think I can give you some extra points. And then I was bummed out because I'm like, no, I want to fucking win.
Yeah, you're
If
just
I don't
getting
win
extra
90s
points.
trivia, but I did win.
Okay, good.
But anyway, this went a lot of places.
It did.
The point is, play the widow card when you can.
Yes.
Responsibly.
Yeah, exactly.
But, if you're taking, you obviously want to spare people this awkwardity, this moment of like, oh, fuck. And then you have to have this moment over and over and over again. So, come up with a stock, don't get upset, but my husband's dead.
Yeah.
Or, no, my husband passed away in January. It's okay. I didn't like him that much anyway. Whatever kind of joke or just statement or whatever.
It points out the elephant in the room.
Yes.
And it lets out the air.
Exactly. So that's what I would do. And
So
I'm very,
smart.
very sorry. If you want to write back in and tell me the specifics, I'll give you a lot of horrible jokes to make. Because I'll do that, Gryffindor and Hufflepuff were there.
Yeah.
And, at my friend's house.
Yeah.
And I would just make these jokes, and like Gryffindor would just shake her head like, oh no. But my friend is cracking up.
Yeah, that's best. That's what a best friend's for.
Exactly.
Is for that moment.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Laura. We really appreciate that. That was a fantastic final question.
Yeah.
But that was it. We're all done for today.
Oh.
We had some good questions. I was very pleased. But if you guys out there, if you have some great questions, and I know you're out there, if you have any decisions, anything, you send it to us and let LB ease your burden. Send us your problems at AskLoriBeth.com. Go follow us on all the socials at AskLoriBeth, or just leave us a message with your voice at 1-855-336-2374. That's 1-855-DENBERG or 1-855-Denberg.
You can find me at LB Denberg on Instagram and look for the picture of me and Chew Baby
Yay!
from San Diego Comic-Con. And I'm at Lori Beth Denberg on Twitter. And there is the Lori Beth Denberg fan page on Facebook. And please, GalaxyCon.com.
There you go.
That's still hard to say, con.com.
Yes.
GalaxyCon.com. Our Nickelodeon panel is August 8th. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to seeing all the bunnies and, shaking hands over the intranets and all that kind of stuff. So, and if you want to get a personalized video for a friend or loved one, you can book me for that at cameo.com/LoriBeth.
Yay! Thank you so much for listening. We had a great time. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you so much, bunnies.
Bad Advice stars Lori Beth Denberg and Clark Crozer. The show is produced by me, Jeremy Balon, and part of the Seltzer Kings network. Our theme song is written and performed by Natty Ward. If you or someone you love is in need of some bad advice, you can submit your own question on our socials, all of which are Ask Lori Beth, or on our website at AskLoriBeth.com, or for a nostalgic twist, you can call 1-855-Denberg. That's right, 1-855-336-2374, and leave your question there. Thanks for listening.